Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by members of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for February 2019. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Maddy Morisseau, Ian Kingston, and James Hinsey. All right, the gang's all here. All right, here we go. As always, we begin with the wonderful world of movies and awesome clips. We have a lot of awesome clips this month with Ian Kingston and Popcorn Previews. Take it away, Ian.
Thank you so much. So first thing that we've got is one that I teased obviously last month. And we're looking at Avengers Endgame, which is really the end of this whole era of Marvel coming to a T. It's going to be like the last major movie after Captain Marvel, where they round out a lot of the existing cast that we've seen for a long time. And in fact, we'll actually be seeing, I would think, about half the cast that we normally see.
Yep.
Is that a little accurate?
Because the other half is dead.
Disintegrated.
Whoa! Spoilers! So we're reprising the role of, Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., Josh Brolin, Chris Evans, etc. We can go on there. Directors are Anthony Russo and Joe Russo. It comes out April 26th. Let's take a look at that.
Stay on. Hey, Miss Potts. If you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. Part of the journey is the end. Just for the record, being adrift in space with zero promise of rescue is more fun than it sounds. Food and water ran out 4 days ago. Oxygen will run out tomorrow morning. That'll be it. When I drift off, I will dream about you. It's always you.
Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
We lost, all of us. We lost friends. We lost family. We lost a part of ourselves. This is the fight of our lives.
This is going to work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Hi, is anyone home? This is Scott Lang. We met a few years ago at the airport in Germany. I got really big.
Is this an old message?
AntMan, I know you know that.
It's the front door.
That's me. Can you buzz me in?
That's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be amazing.
Because we find out what happens to Ant-Man, because he's been in like limbo in that other dimension all this time.
And they've already teased in some of the trailers. I don't, sorry for anybody who's trying to stay spoiler-free, look away really quick. They've teased that he does come out of that realm in this movie, so we'll see how that all kind of comes together.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And I like the fact that it's literally 6 weeks between Captain Marvel and Avengers. So
Yeah, they set it up perfectly.
I mean, so you'll be able to catch the backstory and then the current story, literally. Like that.
Yep. And it also gives us enough time between that and our next movie here, which is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Obviously, the same audience will be watching both of these movies, guaranteed.
I don't think so. No,
but
I think
Pokemon Detective...
A few people? Yeah, but most for Pikachu Detective will be like 8 to 12 or something. But
Yeah, my wife will be there opening night.
Like I said.
8 to 12, right?
Okay.
So, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, directed by Rob Letterman and starring Ryan Reynolds and Justin Smith, comes out May 10th. The story begins when ace detective Harry Goodman goes mysteriously missing, prompting his 21-year-old son Tim to find out what happened. In the trailer, Tim, as you'll see, is a little bit of a loser and detached from his father. So really, his interactions here with Detective Pikachu, which is his father's former Pokemon partner, who is a hilarious, wisecracking, adorable super sleuth who is a puzzlement even to himself. Finding that they are uniquely equipped to communicate with one another, Tim and Pikachu join forces on a thrilling adventure to unravel the tangled mystery, chasing clues together through the neon-lit streets of Rhyme City, a sprawling modern metropolis where humans and Pokemon live side by side in a hyper-realistic live-action world. They encounter a bunch of different Pokemon and try to unfold a plot that could ruin the entire coexistence between Pokemon and humans.
Oh my goodness! So it's every Pokemon fan's ultimate dream.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bringing
there you
Pokemon
go.
to the real world. It's like Pokemon Go, except on the movies.
Yeah, because some people think Pokemon is the real world, as they drive off a cliff looking for more Pokemons. But that's okay.
You got it. So let's take a look at that trailer.
Pika Pika.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
Tim, your dad was a legend in this precinct. If you were anything like your dad.
I'm not.
I remember. You wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when you were young.
Yeah, that didn't really work out. Someone there? Whoever you are, I know how to use this.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
I know you can't understand me, but put down the stapler or I will electrocute you.
Did you just talk?
Whoa. Did you just understand me?
Oh my God!
You can understand me.
Stop! I've been so lonely.
They try to talk to me all the time. All they hear is Pika Pika.
You can hear him, right?
Pika Pika! Yeah, Pika Pika Pika, he's adorable.
You're adorable. They can't understand me, kid.
Can no one else hear him? I don't need a Pokemon, period.
Then what about a world-class detective? Because if you want to find your pops, I'm your best bet. We're gonna do this, you and me. There's magic that brought us together, and that magic is called hope.
Listen up. We got ways to make you talk. Or mime.
Yeah.
So tell us what we want to know. Pipe. Yes. Okay. I can. Shoving. Pushing. My problem is that I push people away and then hate them for leaving.
He's saying you can shove it.
What? I can shove it? Okay, that's it. No, we're switching roles. I'm bad cop. You're good cop.
No, we're not cops.
In my head, I saw that differently.
Okay, Ian, so are you going to go see it?
I'm going to go see it. It looks really funny. Even though it's kind of a family-oriented comedy, action, whatever, I grew up with Pokemon, and there's definitely going to be some undertones and adult humor thrown in there that kids won't understand. And I'm looking forward to the whole balance there. It's going to be really good.
I'll be there with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, fine, I'll go too.
I'm glad that too that they're using like the original Pokemon Pikachu voice along with the new voice too. So it's like, you still get to hear Pika Pika.
Yep, they threw that in the trailer. It's really good, and it's the whole idea is that only Tim can actually hear these Pokemon, so there is something unique about him.
Right.
I'm not sure if we'll find out why or not.
So it's kind of like the I am Groot, and then only Rocket knows exactly what he's saying.
And Thor.
And Thor, yeah.
Right. All right, on to our last movie here. We've got Godzilla, King of the Monsters, being directed by Michael Dougherty. It's coming out May 31st, starring Millie Bobby Brown, Sally Hawkins, Vera Farmiga, and some others, of course. The plot is the cryptozoological agency Monarch faces off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah. As a follow-up from the last, most recent awesome live-action Godzilla movie, I am extremely excited to see this one, because now they're really bringing the powers of modern cinematic footage and CGI and explosions and everything all together with the ability to bring back the superstar cast of the old Godzilla monsters, and I'm just really looking forward to this. I'm sure Maddy is too. So let's take a look at that.
Hello? Is anyone there? I'm trying to reach...
Senators, we believe that these titans are just the tip of the iceberg. Which of these titans are here to protect us? And which of these titans are here to threaten us?
So you'd want to make Godzilla our pet?
No. We would be his.
You sure he's gonna be okay?
They're everywhere. Battling for dominance. A rival alpha to Godzilla.
You gotta be kidding.
Now, when is that one being released?
May 31st.
May 31st, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool because the biggest knock that the Godzilla remake of 2014 easily had was that there was not enough Godzilla
Right.
or the monsters in it. Well, this takes care of that issue in spades.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And if you want to fight King Ghidorah, learn how to tie knots. Best way to do it.
Sure.
Keep that in mind.
We'll make sure that, you know, Godzilla gets his Eagle Scout before he fights King Ghidorah then.
So my only question is there a post-credit scene or is there a scene at the end of the movie where you see Kong?
Oh.
There
I'm
could
pretty
be.
sure there will
We'll
be.
have to stick around.
Yeah. I know they're working on the script and everything, so
Yep.
they could be going into production.
2020.
And they're sizing him so that he's comparable to Godzilla, too. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he's still growing.
Right, yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, that's it for popcorn previews. We're
Wait,
gonna go.
there's more.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear that they trashed the latest Star Trek film? They couldn't negotiate with Chris Pine and others to do a new Star Trek movie, so they just shelved it. So it looks like there's not going to be any new Star Trek film coming out anytime soon.
Wow.
Wow.
They're going to concentrate on Discovery and the new Picard series, that type of thing.
And meanwhile, Orville's going to be really stealing the show because it's just a better series.
Yeah, maybe, but the ratings are falling. We'll talk about it after. Okay.
All right, all right.
Thanks.
No problem. So now we're done with popcorn previews. So we're on to our next segment, possibly becoming the second favorite segment now. With Calvin Watts III, let's take a look at Game Over.
Boy, are we jealous or something? Jeez. You know what? I have never ever said that my segment is the most popular.
No, other people have said it.
So, there.
It's not my most popular.
So, yeah.
Anyways.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So there isn't really a whole lot to talk about on the home media front as to releases. We're kind of in, one of the few times of the year where there's a lull. And come back next month, and I'm sure most of the Christmas movies will be out.
On DVD,
like Bumblebee
Blu-ray.
and Aquaman and all that stuff. You'll definitely see those, in my estimated opinion, before the superhero stuff comes out, and Avengers in May. However, what just did drop, since we are taping in the middle of January, is the latest Consumer Electronics Expo, or CES. And there's a lot of stuff going on there that seems like really cool technology of the future, not the least of which was this OLED TV that rolls up. So it actually rolls up into this little base, and they have the technology where it doesn't need speakers anymore. I guess they'll have Dolby Atmos sound that actually emits from the screen itself. So because
you have pixels that scream at you?
Pretty much.
That's interesting.
Well, one of the biggest knocks with a lot of the flat screen TVs is the fact that because they're flat, there really isn't enough room to put speakers that are halfway decent. So that's why you have to have sound bars or some type of a home HT setup to get the sound out of it.
So let's make it even flatter, but somehow fit more speakers into it.
Right.
Micro speakers, essentially.
Yeah.
Just like the OLEDs. I mean, they're like individual cathode ray tubes now.
I saw footage from the LG booth, and they had, you walk into this room, and they had those foldable screens up on the ceiling and all over the place, and they were running different scenarios and stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty neat.
And even though 4K is just becoming into the mainstream, they just debuted an 8K screen, which I don't see why they need this right away, other than, of course, they want people to buy 8K, and it would just be upconverting. There's nothing, literally nothing out there that you can have.
As far as I'm concerned, put me in cryosleep and wake me up when they finally have replicators and
3D.
yeah.
I don't know if we're going to want the replicators from Stargate, though.
Not those replicators. The ones from Star Trek. Yeah,
Okay.
give me that. And the hologram suites. When they have hologram suites, that's fine. But we'll have like 32 before they finally get around to it.
However, what they did not have at CES, or didn't really have at all, was any new 4K video players. I think they only, the main companies only showed like 3 altogether.
Because of streaming, you think?
Yes, streaming is definitely taking over more and more every day. And you can see the beginning of the end for physical media. Bill Hunt, who runs the Digital Bits Online, just posted a really good commentary op-ed about this, and it's a really, really good read. And while I'm sorry to see it go, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love streaming. I mean, being able to have access to all of that stuff. But there's still something to be said for physical media, and until the internet speeds get to where they can be for everybody consistently, you're still going to get the best picture, the best sound, the best quality from a physical disc or that sort of thing.
Plus, there are still a lot of people like you and I who like having that physical media in their house.
Yep.
So if I want to watch the DVD of Guardians of the Galaxy, I just walk over, pop it in, and boom. I don't have to go through a whole menu and try to find it and all this other stuff.
Which is where it's really cool that you still have something to do if your internet goes out.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Which, that never happens.
No, not at all.
No,
Never.
Not at all.
Let's not go there. All right, on to some gaming stuff. Stern Pinball usually comes out with 2 or 3 new tables a year, and so they just released info on their latest pinball table, which is going to be based on the classic TV series, The Munsters.
Ooh.
So it just basically kind of like their latest releases, how it'll have like an LED screen, and it'll have like footage from the movie and toys and props and stuff. From the movie, from the TV show, starring Fred Gwynn, right?
Yes.
I'm dating
The
myself.
late great. Well, they're all
Late great,
they're all
but yeah.
gone now.
Did you stand yourself up when you were dating yourself?
No, I didn't stand myself up.
Okay.
And it would be stood. I'm just saying.
Who's the only
Well,
one
since
left?
you were the one doing the
I think the
act.
only people left from that cast would be the actress who played Marilyn. She might still be around. Is it Butch Patrick who played?
Yeah.
He's still around too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So more info on that when it comes out. I mean, because also, Pintastic will be coming out in a few months. Looking forward to that. So that'll be pretty cool.
Fantastic. And it doesn't conflict with Kineticon, right?
No, for once it does not,
Ta-da.
which is awesome. So let's see. On to actual gaming. A lot of stuff coming out over the next couple of weeks. Resident Evil 2, the remake, which is getting a lot of buzz. There's a demo right now that I just downloaded on Xbox Live, and I'm looking forward to trying it over the next couple of days. Although it's a unique demo, it's literally a half-hour demo, and it spells it right out. If you die, you can go back, but you can only play it for a half hour. After that, that's it.
Interesting.
So yeah, I find that fairly interesting. But it looks really cool. Crackdown 3 is finally going to be coming out this month. If you have Xbox Game Pass, which is a really good deal, you can try it free for like 2 weeks. I think it's like $1 for the first month, and then I think it's like $9.99. And you get access to at least like 100 games that you can play, including all of Microsoft's first title releases. So that would include Crackdown 3. Kingdom Hearts 3. A lot of people are stoked.
Are you excited about that one, Ian?
I've only been excited since I finished Kingdom Hearts 2 in 2007.
When you were a little squirt, yeah.
It's not quite as bad as Duke Nukem, but it's certainly up there.
Well, at least this one will be a good game when it's finally released.
Oh, then.
I don't know. They kind of said the same thing about Fallout 76.
Yeah,
No,
but I've seen the
I
footage
think-
and everything.
I think-
It really is
I
going to
think
be
Kingdom
amazing.
Hearts- yeah, I think it'll be fun.
All this gamers speak.
So, finally, with Kingdom Hearts 3, they're going to finally be bringing in the Pixar worlds, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Tangled. They're going to have Frozen, so there's going to be a lot of the newer movies interchanged with a lot of the recurring older stuff. It's going to be a longer game than the other ones.
They're going to have Funko Pops for all of them.
And there's been probably about 9 or 10 full game releases, even though there's only been 2 in the main story arc. And I've played almost all of them by this point, which is something to be, reckoned with the fact that I consistently keep coming back to even their off-track games. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the culmination of everything that's been going on since the first release of the first game in 2004 or 5. So it's really been a long arc. It's kind of like, if they drew out Halo 1, 2, and 3 until this long, it'd be the same kind of a thing.
And last but certainly not least, and I've been on the fence going back and forth about this. Originally I was going to get it, then I wasn't so sure. Then I was going to get it, then I wasn't so sure. I'm definitely getting it. Anthem, which is EA and BioWare's answer to Destiny. It's a sci-fi MMO. It looks great. A lot of my friends are picking it up, so it'll give me something else to do.
Is it a first-person shooter?
Yes and no. You're actually going around in power exosuits, kind of think like some of the stuff they were using in the Avatar movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it looks really cool.
Is it better than Shadowrun?
Ha 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 ha.
Anything's
Yeah,
better than
so.
Microsoft Shadowrun.
There are rumors about the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation consoles coming out in 2020. You'll probably hear more about that when E3 rolls around, at least from Microsoft's perspective. Probably the next thing to come out will be kind of like in between console for at least the Xbox. I talk about doing like a streaming only system, and then the actual release of the next gen consoles will have like both. I think you'll see at least one more generation that'll still play discs and whatnot, but eventually you're going to get to that point where it's all streaming too. And last but certainly not least, this is breaking news. I literally found out about this yesterday afternoon. Speaking of Destiny, which the Black Forge, or the Black Armory, I should say, it's had some really good points and really bad points. It got released at the beginning of January. Not the least of which is the last Forge. They time gated it, and then when they released it, you had to solve this near impossible puzzle in order to open it. And so they had like the best Destiny players, and these are people who are beating like the raids in like 15 hours or less, that know what they're doing. And this is from scratch, whether you can't go online, you can't figure out what you're doing. And they couldn't figure out how to unlock it. So, you know, Bungie actually had to go and just like, okay, we know it's too hard and we probably shouldn't have done this. But right on the heels of that, news came along that Bungie is going to be taking over all publishing rights to Destiny. So Bungie developed it just like they kind of developed Halo. And then and Microsoft ended up buying Bungie, but then they split. Bungie became an independent studio. And because of that, the Halo rights went to Microsoft. So it's basically the same thing. But Activision didn't own Bungie, but they had a partnership where Activision had like a lot of the publishing rights and actual, you know, proprietary rights to Destiny. With this separation, it'll be Bungie that'll be taking over all development, all publication, all whatever from Destiny here going forward. So there's a lot of questions a lot of people are asking, not the least of which is, you know, how is the DLC for the rest of the year going to play out? What happens with the PlayStation exclusives, because that was like an Activision thing and not a Bungie thing per se. So more information on it as it comes, but I see this as a good move for Destiny and for Bungie if they can just keep up with their momentum.
It's good because they're such a good studio and reliable when it comes to their content creation. And I feel like a lot of the bigger parent control over their development cycle is what caused a lot of the problems with Destiny that they faced. It wasn't so much the team that was developing it, but probably more the timelines and lack of individual care that they could put into it that you know, led some of those things that needed to be fixed in later expansions to come into the mix.
And last but certainly not least, on March 23rd and 24th at Mohegan Sun is CT GamerCon. This will be, I believe, the third or fourth year that it's going to be running. We went last year.
Yep.
Mitch Halleck, that does Terrificon, is the person behind this, and James from Game Underground, is the guy that sets up the tournament. So there's a lot of video game tournament stuff going on there. There's a room where you can go and play games separately. It's a lot of fun for the whole family.
Yeah, they do a good job with that.
We had a blast last year. We're looking forward to it this year. So if you want something to do as winter's ending and spring is coming in, you definitely want to check that out. That's all I have for Game Over. So let's go into Maddy Morisseau with her awesome segment called Books and Board Games. Go ahead, Maddy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Calvin. So this week I only have this month, actually, not week. I only have board games because unfortunately I haven't been finding any real big books coming out lately. So I hope that later in the year we'll be getting some more writers to put some things out. So
fine.
Do you have any? What about little books?
Little books, no little books.
How about big little books? Those are popular too.
Check it out for next time.
Okay.
So the first one that I have is a board game called Victorian Masterminds. This has been designed by Antoine Bauza and Eric Lang, the creators of Seven Wonders and Rising Sun. The artist is David Tosello, and it's set to be released on February 1st. It's a 2 to 4 player game with 45 to 60 minutes of runtime, and this one seemed really interesting. Victorian Masterminds explores a London thrown into turmoil after the death of legendary detective Sherlock Holmes. Villains can finally be villains without the hindrance of conniving figures like Holmes. So each player is one such villain attempting to complete missions by traveling around Europe to build contraptions and cause destruction. But the Secret Service is out to put a stop to the madness, and only the most cunning villain will win. So this is a fun game if you like to play as an evil villain and who can blow everyone up the fastest. Then this is a game for you. And the second game I have, so if you were disappointed by Fallout 76, which
a lot of people seem to have been.
I think we were. This is a great game that will hopefully renew your love for the Fallout series. So this is a 1 to 4 player game with a runtime of an average of 120 minutes. So it is a longer game, ages 14 plus. So, from their quote, if you're looking to take your Fallout experience offline and you feel angry and disappointed by Fallout 76, this is the game for you. Drawing scenarios from Fallout 3 and 4, this board game is a hell of a lot like playing the actual game, but with your friends. You explore a map, build influence among factions, and even complete side quests to earn more stuff. What's pleasing about this game is the attention to detail. Everything feels drawn straight from the Fallout universe, down to the descriptions on the cards and the artwork. So the length of the game can really be a blessing and a curse. So they have ways where if you're playing with like your parents and you want to keep it kind of short, you can play a shorter version. Or if you really want to sit down for hours and hours on a Saturday night and not get any sleep, you can play the game that way to extend it for as long as you'd like. So this is just a really interesting way of taking a game that everyone loves, converting it into a board game, and kind of bringing back all that love for the series. So that's actually all I have. It's kind of sad,
That's okay.
but that's okay.
There'll be more.
There'll be more. There'll be more later.
All right, and so I believe the next segment that we are running into is Toob News with the very amazing, handsome, super awesome Marc Morisseau. Take it away, Dad.
Thank you, Maddy. All right, here we go. Walking Dead begins the last part of season 9 begins on February 10th on AMC, and they introduce the Whisperers. Have you guys been watching The Walking Dead?
You know,
The Whisperers.
I hate to admit this, and I just did switch recently cable providers, but I did not catch the first half of the season.
Okay.
So I'm behind.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not missing it all that much.
Nope.
Isn't that weird?
Well, it's because they've been running for 9 seasons. They just lost Andrew Lincoln. They're going to lose another character at the latter half of this season. The Whisperers are interesting because they've been introduced in the comic books, and the character Carl was a big part of this Whisperers, scenario. But Carl was killed off last year, so we don't have Carl with the Whisperers anymore. So we're going to see what AMC does as far as handling it. But this is like a make or break moment for me in that.
Or maybe we just won't watch it because I never watched The Walking Dead, nor did I ever care to watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But I love the show. I love the show. I'll stick with it to the end.
Right.
You know, and if it's the ratings that kill it or something, then that's fine.
Yeah. But I think people are getting like a little fed up with zombies. Like it's not as popular as it used to be. So.
Yeah, it's not the in thing anymore.
It's not the in thing anymore. So we'll see what happens. Okay, James, you have DC Universe subscription.
Yes.
So you can look forward to Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Beginning on February 15th.
Isn't that starring Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser
He's
is
the voice of Robot Man.
Robot Man, yep. So there's Robot Man, there's a gelatinous woman, there's a being made of negative energy, negative man. Yep. So if you're familiar with that DC comic, look forward to a live action version
So
of.
that last one is, he's like the party pooper, he's just always negative?
He's always negative,
Gotcha.
yeah. We gotta save some, the bad guys are coming. I don't care.
I can't do anything anyway.
I can't do anything anyway. My whole head's wrapped in bandages, so who cares?
I've seen them in action on the on some of the cartoon series that they've had in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing them as live action.
Yeah, this is a pretty wacky series. So we'll see what happens. All right, also on February 15th, on Netflix is The Umbrella Academy. That's based on another comic book series. A luxury halfway house for the gifted. They're superheroes that they thought they could retire, but turns out they can't because there's more evil in the world and so forth. So if you like that Umbrella Academy, if you like that series, you can check it out on Netflix beginning February 15th.
Hopefully it's good and nothing rains on its parade.
It's a
little stretch?
That
Okay.
was a stretch.
All right.
Okay. Well, I like it, though. Okay. If you've been watching American Gods on Starz.
No.
I have not, but now that I have Starz for free for at least a year, I can catch up.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Season 2 of that series begins on March 10th. Old Gods versus New Gods.
I know Neil Gaiman fans are in love with it.
Right. Yeah. I'm not familiar that much with Neil Gaiman.
Sandman, Neil Gaiman's one of the best comic book writers of all time.
Yeah, that was an awesome series.
Wrote some episodes of Doctor Who.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Yep.
and an excellent author in his own right.
We interviewed him way back
Yes.
at a Bosco.
Yes,
like
that's right.
2003.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was awesome dude.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy. I remember that too. Game of Thrones fans. All right, on HBO. Last season begins in April.
April, woohoo.
Now, I don't have a subscription to HBO, so what Maddie and I usually do is we wait for the season to finish, and then we rent it on Netflix.
Yep.
Watch
'Cause
the
they only do the
DVDs.
discs.
Because they only do the discs.
Me too.
Like right now, I'm in the middle of finishing up season 2 of Westworld,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
I am on episode 2
Yeah.
of season 1
Of
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
You got a lot of
wow.
catching up to do.
Yeah, you got a long way to
Yeah.
go, buddy. But you know, it gets really good. It does.
What I really enjoyed about the DVDs for Game of Thrones was the commentary tracks, especially in the first season with the young kids.
Yep.
Right.
Right? That played Brandon and Sansa and,
Yep.
and Arya. Their commentary track was just fun to listen to.
It's interesting because the show has run for so long, you actually see them grow up
Yes.
during the series. You know? It's pretty neat. Okay, so Game of Thrones is good, and then finally Doctor Who finished up with a New Year's Day episode for season 11. It doesn't come back until 2020.
Wow, at least a year?
At least 2020. Yep. No more Doctor Who in this year. You have to wait. I have mixed feelings about Doctor Who. I liked Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. I thought she did an awesome job. I liked her supporting cast. They were a lot of fun. But I was very disappointed in the episodes. They went to a social activism type of agenda, you know, free equality for everybody and everything's all about feelings. No, I just want to see you fight bad guys. You're the Doctor, for God's sakes. You're supposed to save the universe, and people are actually supposed to be afraid of you. You have this reputation.
So where are the Daleks?
The Daleks showed up in the New Year's episode.
Did they really?
Yeah, one Dalek. That was it. That's all we got.
Oh, man.
Which was pretty cool. They did a good job.
And at the beginning of the season, too, there was, wasn't there?
No.
Oh, I thought.
No, the only original monster we saw was that on New Year's Day episode. You know, Chibnall decided, at first he announced that there were going to be no classic monsters from past Doctor Who episodes.
Why?
And then he changed his mind because he wanted to go in a whole new direction. This old kumbaya, artsy-fartsy feeling, everybody's rainbows type of thing, which just
The
isn't
Doctor
working.
doesn't fight monsters anymore. She just
She
draws.
She has
she
tea.
paints.
Yeah. She has tea with them, you know. Well, there is a comic book series that's out based on Doctor Who with the 13th Doctor, which they're into the 3rd issue now, just came out as we tape this week. That one's pretty good. But as far as the episodes, I hope that people listen to the fans and they go with a more harder edge for Doctor Who. Because even though, you know, he is now a she's still a badass doctor. She could do a lot of things. If you want to promote women's rights and equality and all that stuff, make this doctor a badass doctor and have her fight people. You know, have her people actually be afraid of this doctor. They don't want to cross her.
It's still the Doctor.
It's still the doctor, yeah.
Yep.
And we've gotten hints of it in past episodes of season 11, but in my opinion, not enough. You know, they need to do a little bit more. Okay? All right, that's my soapbox for today. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my Green Lantern hat. That's
I see it.
We had noticed.
Yes, because I like Green Lantern. What's next? Oh, a wonderful segment with James Hinsey that we like to call Anime Daisuki. All right, give me a 3-shot, please, Leslie, because we do all this together. Anime Daisuki. Go, James, go.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do it.
Why not? I wanted to join in.
Yeah,
you know,
why not?
so-
It's his
Hey.
segment.
All right, so we're going to start off with some more Mobile Suit Gundam.
Oh,
Now
Yes.
that's cool.
There's a new series coming, Mobile Suit Gundam Narrative, or Kido Senshi Gundam NT. Comes out February 19th. And in fact, will be in the theaters. It's a film that Fathom Events is arranged to have in the theaters here in the U.S. February 19th. It takes place in the Universal Century universe, which is the original universe, the UC, and the year is UC 0097. Back in the original series, it was like, since the anime series was out in like 77 or 79, right? So that was 0079, and then they had 0081 and 0083.
All right.
Right? So this one, it takes place after they had the series MSG Unicorn. So after the Unicorn series that ended with the Laplace's box being opened up and revealing the new UC charter that it had rights for the new type characters, which are young people who have psychic abilities, which is helps them navigate and operate their Mobile Suit Gundams.
But no bronies, right?
No.
Okay.
And no MSG. I don't like MSG.
No, not that kind of.
Okay.
All right. But a
Gives me
new Gundam appears, threatening peace, and it's they call it the Golden Phoenix. So a whole new Gundam that we'll get to see. It may actually be based on an older one that seemed to disappear at one point.
Evil Gundam?
I'm not sure yet.
You're
I don't
not
know
sure.
who the hero is yet in this story.
Sounded
but-
like kind of like the Secret Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that, you know, with this movie too, they'll maybe develop a series around this this movie. So we'll see if that happens. Let's see. Next we have Netflix has been having a lot of anime on their streaming service. They had for Sword Art Online, when you kind of browse all the different options for, you know, what's recommended to you, the thumbnail that Netflix used for Sword Art Online was someone's fan art. Not an official piece of artwork from the studio or the anime company that, you know, produced the show. It was a fan art. So they're in trouble with that, and they're going to have to maybe communicate and negotiate with that fan.
Netflix is in trouble?
Yeah, to either license that image or they'll just replace it.
I mean, looking at it, I remember when we watch anime on Netflix all the time, looking through, it looks like a really
from the
good
series.
official art. So that artist deserves a lot of credit for that.
You think maybe Netflix did it because they didn't want to pay the studio for artwork or something?
That or they, you know, someone just said,
Somebody
"Oh, here,
just dropped the ball and while this
Here's a
looks
picture.
cool,
you know,
it's
down,
not
yeah,"
realizing it
and
wasn't
then
a
sent
full
it to
It was a
them or
licensing
something.
issue.
Right.
Okay.
And then similarly,
Oops.
the Death Note movie that Netflix has used actual train accident footage from an accident that happened in 2010 in Belgium.
Oh my goodness.
Without permission.
Whoa. That's bad.
Now, I don't think it's the actual event of the accident, but more like the news reporting, because it
That was
appears,
the live action one.
Yeah, the live action.
Okay.
Death Note. The footage appears, I guess, during a news report, and probably in the background. And there is stock footage available you can buy of like the helicopter view of the scene of the accident. So
You can buy it from Getty or someplace like that.
yeah, someplace like that.
Okay.
So
Sounds like their PR department is going through a train wreck right now.
exactly.
Sounds like they're
You
going to be
got
getting
it.
some new people in the PR department.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And then, so Belgium and the folks there that were involved with the accident, families and stuff, are upset about that. So they may actually pull that footage out of the film. They can, you know, re-edit it a little bit.
Right.
Or, I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. Next I have, there was a company in Japan called Maricar. They changed their name to Mari Mobility Development because they were sued by Nintendo.
Oh, here we go.
Because what they do is they have go-karts.
Everybody's
And
getting in trouble this
right?
month.
And the people will rent the go-karts and they'll give them like a guided tour of Tokyo,
Yeah, I heard
driving
about
around in go-karts, and give them costumes from the Mario series to wear.
Oh, okay.
So that's
All
where they
right.
violated trademark, is providing those costumes
Right.
of the different characters.
I could go as Mario. I already got the stash.
Right. And so they did change their name
No, you're
from...
more of a Luigi guy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
They had the original name was Maricar, kind of like Mario Kart. So they changed it to Mari Development, Mobility Development, and then they also stopped, using the costumes. And let's see. Oh, and most of their clientele that come to use their,
Right.
are foreigners. Like 90% of their customer base is foreigners, and all they need is an international driver's license, so they can drive around Tokyo and stuff in little go-karts.
Now, I
looks
don't
fun.
know. I don't know if they do. I've never been to Japan, so
Yeah.
do they drive on the left or the right?
They drive on the left.
They drive on the left, like in
Yep.
Britain.
In Britain, yep.
Okay.
There's only like 2 or 3 countries in the world that drive on the right side of other
Seriously? Yeah.
We're weird. Just like we use the English system instead of the metric. We're also weird.
Yeah.
That's true. So, and then one more thing I have here. There's a film coming out in theaters in April from G Kids. It's Oko's Inn. Inn being like a
hotel?
Not a hotel. More in Japan, it's called a ryokan. A ryokan is like a very old-fashioned wooden house structure that is now an inn, and people can, actually sleep on the floor, go to the have the bathtub, the big giant community like bathtub,
Bed and breakfast.
And breakfast. Yeah, it's like their version of a bed and breakfast. So
no breakfast burritos if you want to use the hot tub. That's it.
Yeah, and then here.
It's communal.
Oh yeah, I get it. So this young girl, Oko, goes to live with her grandmother after her parents pass away. And so she helps the grandmother at her inn and learns to become maybe the next proprietor for the inn. And along the way, she realizes she can see these playful ghosts that live there also. She's the only one that can see them.
Playful ghosts.
Yes, playful ghosts. So
is Casper one of them?
No, he's the friendly ghost, not the playful ghost.
Yeah. Get it straight, will ya?
Right. And then last September, it came out in Japan. It's based on a juvenile book series. And it will be in theaters here in April. So I think it's going to be great for the whole family to see.
You going to go see it?
I don't know.
Is it a regular release or a Fathom Events type?
No,
thing?
it's G Kids.
Oh,
So
cool.
it won't be Fathom Events necessarily, but look for it in theaters.
Okay.
And that's it for Anime Daisuki. We're going to go on now to toys, props, and other
stuff. All right, on the top shelf, we have our PEG Award that we got way back in 2011. Keep that in the middle. And then there are a couple of Funko Pops that I received for my birthday. On the left is the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. And on the right is Twinkie the Kid.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
That Twinkie the Kid is probably 50 years old.
Yeah, at least. Yep. I remember those commercials that I saw that in the store. I went, boom, there we
They
go.
last forever.
They do.
Yes.
They do. No preservatives, especially on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so on the second shelf here, we have a film on the left, The World Sinks, Except Japan, which is a kind of a satire parody of a film that they made in Japan where Japan sinks. And it's an old sci-fi film. But this one was made not too long ago. It's got a bunch of characters in there who have refugees from the U.S. that are working in Japan, like Bill Clinton and other people of well renown. So on the other side is a Sonny Chiba film, GI Samurai. A squad of Japanese soldiers wind up going back in time to medieval days, then have to deal with the situation with their predicament, stuck in the old days of Japan, which is kind of cool because it mixes a little bit of the modern and the Jidai Geki samurai stuff.
Yep.
And then in the middle there is an action figure of Jin Erso from Rogue One, Star Wars, a Star Wars story.
Yep.
So I got that at our Risfic Club holiday party Yankee Swap.
Good movie. I got to watch that movie again.
It's a good.
I got it on Blu-ray. So
Yeah.
check.
It's a top 3 best Star Wars movie.
Yep. Yep. Especially the way it just melds right into A New
yes.
Hope. Perfect. Doesn't get any better than that. All right. The books are on either side are the autobiographies of Jean-Luc Picard and the autobiography of James T. Kirk, which I received as awesome birthday gifts. Thank you very much, by David Goodman. He's the author of those. So it's on my must-read list. Looking forward to checking those out.
In the middle are Shogun Warriors by Mattel from the late 70s from my collection. These are the 3.5-inch figures. I brought those because Reaction, which is the company that has been putting out all of those figures that you see at like your local comic book stores and whatnot, the little 3.5-inch figures, they have all sorts of figures from movies and TV shows. They got stuff from like Alien, they got stuff from like Stranger Things.
Right.
Pretty much any pop culture thing that you can think of, there's a little figure from it. And they just announced that they're coming out with Shogun Warriors. So Mazinga, Great Mazinga, some of the villain robot guy monsters. So that's like really cool.
So if they're able to get the licensing from Mattel to be able to do that.
Well, Mattel got the license. They're originally all from Japan.
All from Japan. All right. Okay. So Mattel is putting those out.
Yeah, well, they're the ones behind Reaction, right?
Oh, cool. I think
believe
so.
so.
I believe so.
So-
I'm just asking because if they can do that, like an old guy like me, grew up in the 60s and 70s with another Mattel
Well,
product.
did you see all the Mego stuff? That
I
they
saw the
put out,
Mego
like, for
stuff, yeah,
Christmas
but
time?
I'm thinking Major Matt Mason.
Yeah.
All that stuff. That would be cool as a smaller figure too.
Now, is one of those robots piloted by somebody named Sheldon, and the robot's name is Buzzinga? No.
That would be awesome, though.
There is a pilot, though.
There is a pilot. Yep.
Okay, so here is my latest pickup in the middle, which is Predator, the 4-movie disc set, which was on sale after Christmas at a phenomenal price. This is the 4K version. It has a 4K movies: Predator, Predator 2, Predators with oh my God, the dude from the piano, Adrian, Brody.
Yep.
And then the latest release, directed by Shane Black, which came out a few months ago.
All right. So original Predators with Schwarzenegger, awesome. Second one, Danny Gloverman, not so much.
It had
Third
moments.
one, whatever. This latest one, Olivia Munn.
I thought that was fun.
Good.
It was good. I liked
fun.
I liked
It was
it.
fun for what it is, but
Yeah.
the original's still the best. But
Okay.
anyways, really good stuff. And on either side of those, I decided to do a cult movie thing. So 2 of my favorite cult movies, Dune. This is the 1984 theatrical version starring Kyle MacLachlan, Sting, and pretty much an all-star cast. Patrick Stewart's in there.
Yep. The best version of Dune ever released.
So far, because
Wow.
I mean, they're actually going to come out
I
with
think
another
so,
version
yeah.
of Dune,
Yeah.
which is like really, really cool. And on the other side, one of the best cult classic movies ever, Escape from New York. I am hooked on Destiny, which means that there are some things that go by the wayside. And since I'm doing really well on my last year's New Year's resolution, this year's New Year's resolution is to finally go back and finish a couple of the games which I haven't gotten around to finishing. And here are 2 of the most acclaimed, both in the horror theme, The Evil Within 2 and Resident Evil Biohazard. So they were great games, and I need to finish them, and so I will.
And you'll have to report back on what they were like.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, guess what? I finally finished them.
Now, have you gotten a PS4 yet?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I thought you did.
Didn't you get it just for Spider-Man?
Oh, I got it for a few other
You got
games.
a few other games, too?
But yeah, basically like exclusives and whatnot.
I've been working through God of War, and it is awesome.
God of War is fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Good stuff. All right. Do we have any shout-outs or anything that we need to bring up? No? We good?
For the month of February?
What's coming up in what?
January.
I had a birthday in January,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, I
you
did.
had a really big birthday.
Yeah, the big 6-0. I'm 60 years
Yeah.
old.
Let's
We
not,
have,
let's not talk about birthdays.
You smell dust?
Yeah.
I
We have
do.
a couple conventions. Costume Con is happening the same weekend as Connecticut Gamer Con.
All right.
That'll be in Danvers, Mass. There'll be a science fiction fantasy masquerade and a historical masquerade and some other things.
So it's a convention about costumes.
Costumes.
Right.
Ah.
Yep. Making
Got it.
them, wearing them, displaying them, and some other things there too.
Now, you're going to Arisia in January.
Yep.
You've been to-
Riza is next weekend here in January.
Maybe you'll have some footage from that, from the
Yep.
masquerade.
I'll try to get pictures and stuff. And we're going to be at the Boston Park Plaza for Arisia.
Yep.
Which is a slight
That's
change.
going back in time.
Yeah, and it's only temporary because of the strike that the Marriott and the Westin had going on back in November, December, and stuff.
Is it
So
finally settled?
it settled the day after we decided to move to Park Plaza.
No community pool for you. Okay.
Right, but and then Northeast Comic Con is the weekend before Connecticut Gamer Con. I think it's like the 16th and 17th.
So around St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day
Okay,
weekend.
in March. Very good.
Yep, Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert
Right.
Gottfried.
Gilbert
I
Gottfried
love
will be
Gilbert
there,
Gottfried.
and he's part of they're doing a lot of comedy stuff at Northeast Comic Con. They had like the Boston Women's Comedian Association
Yep.
ever
Okay.
perform last time, and then so they bring in Gilbert Gottfried in, and Chris Rankin from the Harry Potter series. He played Percy Weasley,
All right.
so he'll be there also, and Nicholas Brandon from the Buffy series.
The Buffy series.
And he's got a whole thing happening this year, and I think he did some of it last year. He's going bowling with fans. So I think Thursday evening up near Boxborough or in Linfield, Mass. He's going bowling with fans, so the fans can sign up for that.
Cool. We can put something up on our website.
Yeah.
If you want. That'll be great.
Yep.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's what we got coming up really soon.
February, March. Yeah. Nice. All right. If you want to get in touch with us, our website is www.risfc.org. We have Facebook pages for the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club and for Sci-Fi Journal and for the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. And we have a Twitter feed and all that other cool stuff. Please check those out. Okay.
Email address?
Our email address is risfc.communications@gmail.com. Sounds good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. That's it for the February 20. Oh, wait. It's going to be thanks to James. We have lots of candy for Valentine's Day, right? There we go. So we're going to help ourselves after this.
Yay. Diabetes, thanks
you. Don't forget the nerds. You are what you eat. Okay. That's it for this edition of Sci-Fi Journal for February 2019. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next month.
Bye there. Bye.
All right. Well, look at this good stuff.